Hello everybody and welcome to the show. This is Andy Shed Live for Sunday the 30th of August 2020, and today on the show we're going to be talking about servicing dial telephones amongst other things. Hello there and welcome to the show. How on earth are you today? I've been in the garden today, a bit mucky because I've been out and about in the garden there. So yeah, it's been an interesting one today. Let's just move the camera around a little bit so the lighting is a little bit better if we possibly can. Hello to everybody in the chat there. There's JC, there's Christopher, there's Dominic, there's Jimmy. Hello everybody, welcome to the show on this Sunday evening. It's getting to be a bit of a habit, this, isn't it? 6 o'clock Sunday night, getting to be a bit of a habit. And happy August Bank Holiday weekend if you're in the UK, or if you're in England anyway. It's different in Scotland, isn't it? Is it different in Wales as well? Don't know if you have it in Wales or not. I know it's different in Scotland, but hello wherever you are, and a happy August Bank Holiday wherever you are in the world, because we're sort of celebrating it by doing absolutely diddly squat really today. Like I say, I've been out in the garden. That's why I'm absolutely filthy at the minute, because I've just been digging up onions in the garden. Right, we have got one or two things on the show today, but before we go any further, a few announcements to make as well. As always, if you want to get in touch with us here at the show, you can do. Go here, andyshed.colepress.net. That's our website. It's going to have a little update very soon, that website, and it's going to have all the latest episodes put on. So if you want to catch the latest episodes, watch out for them. They'll be going onto that website soon. So andyshed.colepress.net. If you want to get in touch with us, if you want to send us photos or anything, there's a contact form on that website. Get on there, send me a message, and then I'll email you back with an email address you can actually send photos to if you want to send me a picture of anything. The chat is already kicking off. We've already got one or two people in there. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can join the live chat if you would like. Jimmy's got a question. He says, are red telephones hard to get hold of? Simple answer to that one is they're harder than any of the others. The reason being, for some reason, everybody wants a red one. Everybody wants a red one, and they didn't make that many. There were 7 different colours of phones you could have in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s even, from the GPO, or what became Telecom and then eventually BT. You could have ivory, grey, black, what they call Concord blue, which sometimes looks a bit greeny, two-tone green, which ones have I missed? Red, and yellow, topaz yellow. So they were the 7 colours you could have: ivory, two-tone grey, black, red, two-tone green, yellow, and blue. Now, there's a bit of debate about which is the rarest colour. Some people say it's blue. Some people say it's topaz yellow. From my experience, I'd say it's topaz yellow, because I seem to see a lot more what they call Concord blue phones, and it's Concord without the E on the end, by the way. I seem to see a lot more Concord blue than I do yellow ones. So I would say yellow is the rarest. There looks like there's a lot of yellow out there because the ivory ones get this kind of suntan and the ABS darkens over the years and they look yellow, but they're not. If you look inside, you find they're ivory, most of them. Yellow. So I would say yellow ones are quite rare. Red ones were somewhere in the middle, but they're very desirable. they don't suffer badly from this changing colour thing that the ABS plastic does. The red doesn't seem to change much, and B, people like a nice bright red phone, so red ones are quite desirable. I think I've maybe got about half a dozen of them compared to about 30 or 40 ivory 746s. Dominic says it's possibly because the direct line telephone adverts making red well known. It could be that they actually did make a direct line telephone for a while with wheels on. I have seen them. So yeah, you can buy the direct line, the actual direct line telephone, if you go and have a rummage around the car boot sales and things. They are out there. Christopher's here tonight. He says he's got a 1976 Australia PMG Power Blue 891 wall phone. A wall phone? That's an interesting one, Chris. Send us a photo. I can't quite imagine what that one is. And he says he's got it hardwired in as it should be, and it's on the wall. Nice one. Right, so what are we doing today? Well, we've had today, when I can find the right thing, we've had a question. Now, I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. Carl Hobbs has been in touch. He watched one of the videos. He watched one of the videos about Jubilee phones. It was the one that he watched, and he left a comment on the video, and it's a really good question what he left. So I thought I'll throw it over to you guys. He says, "Hi Andy, I know this is a few years old, but I hope you're still answering questions on it. Just wondered if you can help with my 706F project. I've already carried out the conversion to modern plug-in socket, but I would like to connect an LED strip light to the phone, so when it rings, the LEDs light up. Don't want to give away too much about the project until it's complete, but happy to share it with you once it's done. The LED strips I'll be using run at 12 volts, 2 amps, and draw 12 watts per meter, although I'll only be using half a meter tops. Is there any way of wiring these directly into the phone's internal wiring so this works? Thanks in advance, Carl." So what Carl is wanting to do is wanting to use some 12 volt LED strip lights that will come on when the telephone rings. Now that's difficult for a couple of reasons. One, when the phone rings, the ring is done by AC, not DC. That's what makes the bell go backwards and forwards, the frequency of the AC. Now, the problem with it is, to run at 12 volts, nothing in a phone basically runs at 12 volts. Your speech is around about somewhere between about 5 volts and 9 volts ish DC. It varies depending on the length of the line that you're on the end of and stuff like that. And the ringing is somewhere around about 60 to 80 volts ish AC. You can get a kick if you touch the inside of a phone when it's ringing. So there's nothing really that's 12 volts in there. So the only thing that I could really suggest would be to use a relay, and then have an external 12 volt power supply for your lights, and have the phone throw a relay over, and then the relay power the lights, and the power supply and the lights be external to the phone, just switched by the relay. Now the thing about this is, all the relays that I know of are DC, not AC. I don't know of any AC relays. Now, I'm not an electrician. Somebody out there will probably say, yeah, there's lots of AC relays, but I don't know of any. So if anybody out there knows how Carl can do this, how he can wire a 12-volt strip light, LED strip light, to the phone, so it lights up when it rings, then let me know. I think it's got to be done with a relay, and I think it's got to be a relay that trips with AC, so it's energized by AC, but then the actual power supply that it switches has got to be DC 12 volts. So I think that's got to be external, that DC 12 volts. So can you get AC relays? That is basically the question there. But it's a really good question there, Carl. Thanks for the question, and we'll look into that one for you, and we'll try and get back to you. If anybody knows the answer to it, leave a comment, or as always, go to the website andyshed.coldpress.net and drop me a line on the contact us form on there. Okay, back in the chat. Dominic says, in a railway signalling Facebook group, somebody shared photos of some black 741s still in service at a relay room and a BR Statesman. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe the 741 still in service somewhere. The 741, for those who don't know, is the wall version of the 746. But yeah, I can well believe there's some still operational somewhere. They did come in black 741s. They came in black, grey and ivory. They were the only colours they were done in. Some people say, I've not personally seen one, that they also came in red for use in fire stations. Strictly only for use in fire stations. That may be the case. What I will say though is, there are replica cases done now of 741s that are done in red. So if you see a red 741, it may be a very rare one from a fire station, or it may be a modern replica. So if you're thinking about buying a red 741, buyer beware. But black ones, yeah, they are. You get them. I think probably for the 741, I think black was the least common colour. I think ivory was the most common colour. There are also quite a few grey ones. I think black was the least common colour. Right, for the relays, Christopher says, you could use old telephone 90-volt relays to run the LED on 12 volts. Are those 90-volt relays AC then, Chris? They work on AC? That'd be about right, wouldn't it? That would be about right. If that's the case, yes, they're what you could use. We'll have a Google around and look that up. Shall I see if I can look that up? Just bear with me 1 second, and we'll have a look. We'll have a bit of a Google and see if we can find the answer to that. Right. AC 90-volt. Right, I'm looking what it's coming up. It's coming up with all kinds of stabilizer kits. It's coming up with AC relays, 24 volts, 230 volts, 8 and 11 pin AC relays. such a thing does exist apparently. Right, can I show you guys this? Let's have a look. I can indeed. Right, there we go. There's a thing. Now, I don't know if you can see what I can see here, but 24 volt AC 8-pin relay, 2 pole. 115 volt AC relay, 8-pin relay, 2 pole. AC 8-pin relay, 230 volts, 230 volts. And there's DC relays. So it would figure you'd probably get a 90 volt one then, wouldn't it? But I wonder if a 115 volt one would do. Let's have a look at that for him. 2 pole 8-pin changeover relays with 10 amp 250 volt AC, 30 volt DC rated. Protected by a clear polycarbonate screw retained cover, designed to be DIN rail or surface mounted, supply complete with relay retention clip. Well, I'm thinking that looks like it could be the thing. That does to me. Because you've got your coil for your relay, so you energise that coil, and then it switches one way or the other. So that's looking like it. That's looking like something like what he wants. I would say. What does everybody else think? So, like I say, I am not an electrician by any stretch of the imagination. Dominic says an opto-isolator connecting to the LED and some smoothing capacitors possibly. AC relays might be simpler though. One wall phone on the YouTube channel. Did you sort your phone spares out from last week, says Jimmy. I did Jimmy, yes. And Moog Dome has joined us as well. Hello there, Moog. Yeah, I sorted the bits and pieces out last week. I've got some of them here. This is one of the 706 grey cases that I'm cleaning up. Surprisingly, absolutely no fading on this at all. I've not done anything to colour restore this, but there is absolutely zero fading on it. There's no fading at all on this. If I can put this under a camera. Oh, hang on. There we go. No fading at all on it. It's amazing. And I'm starting to wonder if it's Diacon or not. But I'm really not sure. It doesn't look like Diacon. Well, Diacon is interesting because it's kind of, you can like see into it. The shine is deep on it, like a really good paint job on a car. You know, you can, there's depth to the shine of Diacon, and there doesn't seem to be depth to the shine of this. But it's not faded at all, so, but I just don't know. I also know there were some 706 cases made late on out of other materials as a trial. So I don't know if this could be something to do with that. And this case is a bit oddball as well, because it's got little things here. Can you see these here? I've never noticed those on a 706 case before. Can you see that? Now, is that oddball, or is it just me that's not noticed those before? These little things here and here. Or is that oddball? Dominic says, is it Diacon? Yeah, good question, we don't know. The chat's a little bit behind, so my apologies if I'm saying stuff you've typed like 10 minutes ago. The chat's a few minutes behind. It certainly looks Diacon. That, whether it is or not, I've got no idea. But it certainly looks Diacon. So I'm sorting out all these spares gradually. And something that I'm doing, which I'll be able to tell you more about next week, hopefully. I was hoping to have it ready for this week, but I'll tell you more next week. We're opening a little shop. Yeah, I'm going to be opening a shop, Andy's Emporium, not Andy's Shed, Andy's Emporium. It's going to be called online, and you are going to be able to buy in the shop various telephone bits and various other things too. Lots of antique and vintage things. It's not all telephones, but there will be quite a lot of telephone bits in it. And we're going to be starting that. I'm hoping to launch that next week. So be here 6 o'clock next week for the live show, and hopefully we'll have an announcement, and I'll have a website for you where you can go and you can have a look at the shop, and those things that I was offloading last week, a lot of the bits and pieces, it's more than I will ever use for the restorations that I do, so a lot of them are going to be going up for sale in that shop, which of course keeps this channel going, because we've still not hit the magic 1,000 subscribers, and YouTube still don't allow us to monetize the content, so we've got to make a few pennies somehow. So yeah, we're going to be opening the shop, and it's going to give me a chance to get rid of a bit of the surplus stuff and that, and let other people get hold of some of it. Dominic says, Pie of Cambridge seem to have stuck it out with Diacon longer than most manufacturers did. When do you think they stopped then, Dominic? I thought they all stopped around about 1963-ish. Do you think Pie went longer with it? Right. Right, I think I've caught up with the chat now. I think we've got there. Right, so that was the question that we had last week, and it looks like maybe AC relays are the way to go with making a 12 volt, making a phone switch a 12 volt system. So yeah, we'll find out. We'll have to find out what he was up to with that, what his project is or was or might be, and I will let you know as we go on. Abandoned Adelaide is here. Hello Andy from Adelaide, South Australia. Keep up the good work. Hello there, Abandoned Adelaide. It must be stupid o'clock there as well, like it is for Christopher, because he's in your part of the world as well. Dominic Meakin says 63, although a lot seem to have switched a year earlier. Yeah, well, I've always guessed at 63. So yeah, maybe somebody switched 62-ish. So you reckon that Pi held on to Diacon until 63? Maybe they just had big stocks of it. Maybe just they made a lot of cases, and you know that they were in stock. So I guess when the switch came, I guess somebody didn't come along one day and say, right, we want all our cases to be made out of ABS now. If you've got any Diacon ones, throw them away. I'm guessing they said, we want all our cases made out of ABS now. Use up your Diacon stocks first and then switch to ABS from now. I'm guessing that's what happened. Christopher says he thinks green PMG 802 phones are made out of Diacon. Yeah, you can tell Diacon because, like I say, it's a dark it's got a deep shine to it. It's like looking into a pond as opposed to looking into a mirror. Diacon, you can see. I'm sure it's an optical illusion, really, but it has the impression you can see down into it. The shine is deep, so that's the way you can spot Diacon. Once you've seen it, you can spot it a mile off. It's got that deep sheen to it, and it's more shiny than ABS as well. It's much more shiny than ABS. And the other thing is acetone doesn't touch Diacon, whereas it melts ABS. If you want to test a little bit somewhere along the line. Right, now what else are we doing today? I was also asked the other day about dials, about servicing dials, which I'll have a go at in a second. So Abandoned Adelaide says it's 2:54 AM there in South Australia, but saw the live stream was on, so thought I'd come and say hi. Hi there. And it's 3:23 AM where Chris is. All these people that stay up in the middle of the night to watch this live stream. I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So yeah, we're here. For those who don't know, we're here basically this time every Sunday, but don't feel you have to stay up to like 3 o'clock in the morning and watch it, because it does go up on YouTube later, and also hopefully it goes up onto the library platform as well. Most of them should find their way onto the library platform. Now, something weird has just happened to my phone that's doing the chat. Just bear with me 1 second. Right, where are we? Live. There we are. Right, we're back, I think. Dominic says, I have a 63 CDUL black Diacon phone in original condition with a Bakelite terminal block on the end. Also has a chunky cord. Yeah, the chunky cords were on the early ones. We were talking about chunky cords last week. And you've got a Bakelite terminal block, so it sounds like the terminal block is a leftover from the 300 series. It sounds like you've got one of those fitted to it, which is a bit unusual, but no reason that you can't do it. It says, don't think it was used much. Also had a 300 series dial label and the original lever from side label. Eh? The original lever from side label. No, I'm not sure that's come out quite right, or I'm missing something there. I don't think it was used much, as it also has a 300 series dial label and the original lever from side label. I think that changed what you actually wrote there, Dominic, and made it a bit indecipherable. I think YouTube learning has changed your words to something that they thought you wanted to say rather than what you actually did want to say. Right. We'll crack on and keep it going. Yeah, I was asked a couple of weeks ago about servicing dials. So I just want to run through this today because I promised I would. So we'll do it on something a bit exciting. We'll do it on a trim phone. It makes my eyes light up when with the what's it? With the radiation. So, servicing dials. This is where I have to go and get me bit of tape, isn't it? Right, just bear with me a moment. I've never got the tape here. Just have a look at this phone a second. I'll be back in 2 minutes or even less. I have returned. They said it'd happen, and it has. Right, here I am. Bit of what we call sellotape or sticky tape or whatever you want to call it. Is sellotape a brand name? Like Hoover is a brand name for a vacuum cleaner. Is sellotape a brand name? Question of the day there, is sellotape a brand name? But anyway, we've got it, and to service a dial, this works basically on pretty much all 700 series phones, particularly the later ones here. But do that across the dial, do that, boom, and you pull the dial label cover off. Now, if you've got an early dial 21 with a coloured finger wheel, then when you pop the label off, you'll find there's a little brass or little metal plate under here that's kind of spring loaded, and what you do to get those off is you put a little flat bladed screwdriver under this side, and they go up through a little hole in the finger wheel here in the plastic, and what you're trying to do is hit the bit of metal that's here on those so it pops the thing out. So you put your screwdriver under there, then twist it, and that should make the bit of metal pop up, and then that will in turn push the dial label off. That's if you've got an early dial 21 on something like a 706, the ones with the coloured finger wheels, because it's just basically a different sort of finger wheel on the dial.